Tempers are rising and patience is weakening heading into the Big 12 tournament for women's basketball. Baseball loses in the most Texas way possible, and men's basketball has to fight off a Hypno-Toad and Jayhawk in the next week. All this and more coming up on College Crossfire.
Coming back to that 2021 MVP. He's better than Josh Allen. He's better than Major Mayfield. He's not better than Mahomes. I can't say that.
Well, you miss a kick, you get kicked.
You know, bad money or whatever, some food inside of them. No, that is a great answer. How dare you? Oh, man.
That's an auto play.
Good evening and welcome into College Crossfire, the best collegiate sports debate show on the planet. I'm your host, Tommy Yarrish. We've got a great one lined up for you tonight. Let's go ahead and meet our contestants. On first base, he's our returning champion. You saw him ask another question in Rodney Terry's presser this week. It's Horn Sports' finest, Ryan Swantkowski. Welcome back, Ryan. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Excited to be here. Got some great competition tonight. Excited to dog it out with them. Very pumped to be back.
Great competitions and great questions at the presser, as always,
Thank you,
my friend.
I appreciate it.
On second base, he's coming back for the first time in a long time. It's Mr. Good Stuff himself, Adam Ogburn. Adam, how are you?
Yeah, I've been banished to Friday mornings 1-0 for so long, so Tommy, thank you for lifting the ban and allowing me back on Crossfire.
It wasn't my band, but thanks for coming back. We appreciate you. We appreciate you joining us tonight. And last, but certainly not least, on third base, it's a rare night where he gets some credit around here, but he did defeat me in a one-on-one basketball game this past week. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Baller, Justin Goosman. How's it going, Goose?
It's going well. Glad I could get the win and just hoping that you don't do me like those intramural refs did me about half an hour ago.
Yeah, justice for Goose here. Intramural refs, what are we doing, guys? This is a trained official right here, and you can't make the right call when he tells you it. Come on, guys. Great to have you here, Goose. Great to have all of you. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Let's go ahead and get started. The Texas women's basketball team lost to Baylor earlier this week, and after the game, Vic Schaefer and Rory Harmon were very vocal in their post-game press conference, with Harmon claiming that she took it personally when her teammates didn't match her energy on the floor. Guys, do you think that this is an alarming quote for the state of the program, or is it maybe more of a wake-up call for Texas as they head into the Big 12 tournament and beyond? Ryan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think the quote is somewhat alarming at first sight, but to be honest with you, I kind of like it. I think it is a little bit of a wake-up call. Harmon's an unsung hero, or unsung leader of this team. 35 minutes per game, leads the team in assists, leads the team in steals. I mean, if somebody's not matching their energy, I love it. Call them out for it. I mean, this is a very good weighty Longhorn team that can go far in the March Madness tournament. I love it. I mean, would you rather her sit back and not be upset with them losing? It's just all about passion and trying to light a fire. So I love it, and I think it will pay dues come March.
Yeah, certainly a good sign of leadership. The only question would be, is that maybe a conversation that you save for the locker room and you don't show in front of the media? But nonetheless, a good point. Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, you look at the stat sheet, I don't even think Harmon was the best player on the floor for Texas on Monday night. I think it was actually Taylor Jones, 15 points, 13 rebounds, double-double for her. And so for Harmon, who shot 5-18 from the field, it wasn't really a performance where she had put Texas on her back. Now, a poor shooting night does not necessarily mean a poor effort night. She was definitely putting her all out there. But coming off a game where she only had 13 points, it seems kind of, if she'd gone for 30 points and, had done everything it seemed like, and just Texas fell short, then maybe. But like you said, Tommy, I think this is more of a conversation that needs to be had in the locker room, because you don't want a divided team. You don't want the other players who weren't called out by name, but you could very much tell who Vic Schaefer and Rory were kind of focusing on. You don't want them to say, why is this being leaked to the media? You don't want to create a rift in the team heading the most important part of the year. So I don't love it. I think it's a great speech for her, but it needs to be made inside the locker room for me.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. And the last thing you want is a divide in your team going into the most important time of the season. So we'll see if that causes anything here in the near future. Keep an eye on that. Justin, close us out.
You know, I really don't think it's all that alarming. I think you see this a lot in men's college basketball, and you see this a lot in the NBA. Plus, when you think about the context of this game, there were 10,000 fans in the Moody Center, and women's basketball hadn't had that for most of the season. So when you come out and you have a huge audience ready to watch you play, and then you come up short and you don't look like you're giving your all out there, it's definitely disappointing. And for the leader of this team, I think it's absolutely okay for Rory Harmon to say something like that, especially in the presence of head coach Vic Schaefer. I'm sure that there was a conversation about what was going to be said in the press conference, because a lot of times you don't see a player just lash out on teammates. And Vic Schaefer has said things similar to that all season long when Texas comes out flat. So I think seeing it come from a player and from the leader in that locker room to the media is probably actually a good thing to wake this Texas team up heading into the most important part of the season, and that's just my take on it.
I completely agree with you, and I'm glad you mentioned Vic Schaefer voicing his concerns as well. Vic Schaefer's always been a guy who's very honest and brutally honest in these press conferences as well, so a sign of his leadership flashing as well there. One question down. Justin, I'm going to give you the 3 here. Adam, you get the 2. Ryan, you get the 1. Next up, this guy. Baseball continues to bounce back after a slow start, but a bump in the road came last night against number 1 LSU as the Longhorns gave up, you guessed it, a 9th-inning 3-run homer after what was a phenomenal night on the mound for Texas, and pitching was a question mark at the start of the year. They finally show up well and ruin it at the final second. We discussed last week that this team is far from the same, and while they put up a good effort, it obviously wasn't enough to win against a very formidable opponent. What needs to change for David Pierce and company to get some wins over some high-quality teams? Adam, we'll start with you.
Yeah, you say it's a bump in the road. I think it's a very, very minor bump in the road. I mean, this Texas team went toe-to-toe with the number 1 team in the nation, which I don't think a lot of people really expected heading into that game. I think they thought an LSU would run away against an inexperienced Texas team, but I think Texas learned a lot about LeBaron Johnson. I think he put himself right into contention to be a weekend starter. Tommy, you asked the question, what needs to change? It's got to be the offense. You look at the Longhorns, the only time they've scored more than 5 runs in a game this year was against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. The only 2 times they've scored 5 runs, it was against Missouri and Indiana. In both those games, the opposing team had 3 errors. So you look at the run support's just not there. Dylan Campbell's batting 174. Jack O'Dowd, who they really need to step up in the middle of the infield, he's only batting 179. Garrett Guillemette only has 2 RBIs from the cleanup spot. So this Texas team, they're just not generating enough runs. The pitching was outstanding last night. I mean, 3 runs, you can't ask for much more. You can't ask for much more than LeBaron Johnson's performance on the mound. You got to look at the offense. They got to figure out how to get runners on base and how to get them across home plate.
Yeah, and that's such a difference from last year with so much offensive firepower at the plate for Texas. So a little bit different this year around. Justin?
Yeah, I'm going to echo a lot of what Adam said. Texas yesterday batted 183, and on the season they're batting 214, which means that they're not doing anything really offensively in order to get production. Yesterday they had 3 opportunities to score, and they went 0 for 3 with runners on base, which is really not something that you can afford to have happen when you're playing against the number 1 team in the country. A lot of what Adam said, like LeBaron Johnson, he pitched 5 scoreless innings. I mean, he had 9 strikeouts. There's not much more you can ask from your pitchers and the guys in the bullpen when your offense just can't get anything going. They've struggled all season long. They're going to have to figure out something on the batting end. If they don't, it's going to be an issue later on in the season.
Certainly, and it's very great to see LeBaron Johnson do well against a team like LSU, who is known for their offensive explosiveness, and certainly a perfect outing as far as his standards go. Ryan, close us out.
Yeah, you asked what went wrong, and what went wrong was 1 pitch. I mean, you saw Duplantier gave up the 3-run homer, but Stewart right before gave up the 2 walks to put the guys on base. That was a huge momentum point for them. The walks itself gave LSU all that momentum, so don't put that necessarily on that 1 pitch, but that's why they lost the game. I mean, the 1 pitch went over the wall. Looking at what needs to change, Adam said it himself, Dylan Campbell, Pierce, the head coach last week or 2 weeks ago, said that Dylan Campbell is the offensive leader of this team. You cannot be hitting 174 with 4 hits in 8 games and expect to be the offensive leader of this team. Like both of them said, they've been struggling to score runs all year long. Dylan Campbell has to step up his game. Big point of emphasis I want to note is that he is 3 for 3, 100% on stolen bases. Get on base more, bro, and steal some more bases. Maybe you can score some more runs. So I would say that's the big key to success for Texas moving forward is Campbell. And then, like you said last year, they relied on the long ball, and they just got to find their identity.
Some words of wisdom for Dylan Campbell. Get on base, bro. It's that easy. It's that easy.
100% on
What are you
stolen
doing,
bases.
Dylan?
Get on base.
Come on, man.
Go steal some more basis.
Hey, David Pierce, this guy's coming for your job. He listens well in the press conference.
This is the Horn Sport analysis we need.
Exactly. Hornsports.com if you want more of Ryan Swantkowski's phenomenal analysis. And for that analysis, you're going to get the 3 here. In all seriousness, I do agree that you can't be the leader of the offense and bat 187? 174, close enough. You get the 3 here. Adam, you'll get the 2. Goose, you get the 1. And last question here of this block, folks. Men's basketball also lost to Baylor this week, despite a strong start to the game from Dylan DeSue. That's the first time we've said that all season. Now 2 of the tougher games remain on the schedule with TCU and Kansas on the docket. What would Texas have to do in these 2 games to make you feel confident about their ability to perform well in the Big 12 tournament? By the way, that TCU game going down right now, somebody could provide a score update. That'd be phenomenal. Otherwise, Goose?
I mean, it's pretty clear. Texas has to show that they can play a good game from start to finish in an environment that is not named the Moody Center. Because they've been electric at home. They can play a great game at home, but when they are on the road, they struggle to start games well. And in the second half, when you're relying on a 10, 12, 15-point comeback, especially come Big 12 tournament time, NCAA tournament time, you might be playing a team like Houston or Purdue. You can't rely on coming back from 12 to 15 points in the second half. Another thing I need to see Texas do is share the ball well. When the ball is popping and it's moving around the key, they are almost impossible to stop. Timmy Allen can hit in the mid-range. Jabari Rice can do everything. He can score at all 3 levels. Arterio Morris, Marcus Carter, elite scorers. If they move the ball around and they can have a good game from start to finish against either of these teams, I like what I'm seeing from Texas.
A good first half start and good ball movement. That'll win you a lot of basketball games. Doesn't matter who you are. Good points to start, Ryan?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize or kind of go off of what Goose said. The Longhorns are sharing the ball plenty, actually. They have, I think, 16 assists per game, something like that. Opponents only 12 averaging, so 4 more assists a game for the season, I think, is pretty notable. Big thing I would say, Goose kind of said it again, though, is winning on the road, playing TCU as we speak right now. Lost 6 of the 7 losses come on the road. It'd be huge for the Longhorns to go and win at TCU. That'd be great. But honestly, Tommy, I'd just say stay healthy. I mean, this team, they've shown you week in and week out, they can really beat anybody. And as a projected 2 seed, I truly believe that. So as long as they stay healthy, try to either take 1 from TCU or Baylor, they have enough momentum and to carry themselves into March.
And a quick score update, TCU leading Texas by 12 at the half, so it looks like it's second half comeback time for Rodney Terry and company again. Adam?
Yeah, so you look at, so these 2 guys have said Texas 16-1 at home, 4-5 away, and then they've also got that neutral site loss against Illinois. But I think for this team, you got to see the veteran leadership too in terms of consistency. Dylan Mitchell is the only starter who's not a transfer. So these other guys, they played somewhere else. They have experience. When you look at Marcus Carr from Minnesota, Timmy Allen coming from Utah, even Sir Jabari Rice, 6th man of the year, he came from New Mexico State. So these guys have been around in March. They know how to play, and so I think it's just that consistency. Can they carry it throughout a whole game? Because in Baylor, it wasn't even a slow start. They were up 18-4, then they just crumbled. You never saw a response. You need that out of this veteran leadership. And also Timmy Allen, he's been really consistent. He's a player that Texas really needs to be a consistent offensive scorer. You look at his last 4 games, only 2 points that loss against Tech, then 15, then only 6 in the win against Iowa State, and then 12 against Baylor. So very up and down. I will say one positive, Tyrese Hunter's been playing a lot better lately, double digits the past couple of games. Texas needs him to continue to contribute on offense, joining really Sir Jabari Rice and Marcus Carr, kind of those top couple of scores. Rodney Terry said it, about any Texas player can be the leading scorer on any given night. So if they can continue, if they can have multiple guys step up, it'll put them in a good position down the stretch, especially if one of their top players is having an off night.
Perfect answer there as well. We're 3 questions into this one, and it's close. 1 point separates all of our contestants, but out in the lead early is Ryan with 7. Behind him with 6 is Justin, and last but not least is Adam with 5. Like I said, long ways to go. We got a next set of questions coming up on College Crossfire. Welcome back into College Crossfire. Quick score update if you're just joining us. Ryan ahead of the pack with 7. Behind him is Justin with 6, followed by Adam with 5. Let's kick off our second block now with this. Mock drafts and big boards are in full swing right now with the draft about 2 months away, the combine this week. And without a doubt, the biggest position in question, as usual, is the quarterback class. If you were an NFL general manager and could choose any of the quarterbacks in the class, who would you want to be on your team? This one, we'll start with Goose.
If it were me, I would go with the guy who's on the screen right now, and that's Anthony Richardson, because when I look at upside in this draft, Anthony Richardson has the most upside. And if you're a team like the Atlanta Falcons, who runs a lot of read option with a lot of quarterback runs, Anthony Richardson's the perfect choice. If you're a team that maybe likes to throw the ball a lot more, obviously you're going to go Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis. They have a more accurate arm. But the upside points to Anthony Richardson. I mean, he's as big as Cam Newton. He runs a 4.3, 4.4 40. He has an arm that rivals Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in terms of strength. If you're looking at upside potential and the chance to bring a true GOAT to your city, I mean, it's Anthony Richardson, because the league is going mobile quarterback. Anthony Richardson all the way. He's going to change the game, I tell you what.
You know, I usually would comment on these things, but I think Ryan's dying to rebuttal this, so I'm just going to hand it right off to you, Ryan.
I mean, look, Anthony Richardson I think he'll be a good quarterback. He's got all the attributes that you said. He's got a great build, great frame. He's got the arm power. We're talking number 1 overall pick here, bro. This dude is not polished enough at all to be a number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. You need a quarterback coach. We were talking about this earlier. My guy I would go with is Bryce Young. You can look at CJ Stroud, 86 touchdowns, 12 picks in 2 seasons. Big thing that you noted, though, as well, Goose, is that Stroud cannot run. 1 rushing touchdown in 2 seasons at Ohio State. Look at Bryce Young, much more rushing touchdowns, much better competition in the SEC as well. And he had Bill O'Brien as his OC last year and still had 33 touchdowns. I'm going to go with Bryce Young just based off the competition he had in college and his ability to run the ball way better than Stroud. So that's why I'll go with Young over Anthony Richardson as well.
You still upset about the Bill O'Brien tenure in Houston?
Dude, that thing lives in my heart. 24/7.
You and me both, bro. You and me both.
I'm so sorry. Hey, at least you guys got to experience the Lovie Smith era. Imagine having that for like 10 years. Yeah, thanks for the number 1 overall pick. Adam?
Yeah, I've got to agree with Ryan here, because when you're looking at number 1, I'm coming from almost like the Texans standpoint. You need a proven quarterback. You can't be taking risks when you're looking at these top couple of picks. These are depleted franchises. They need a proven quarterback. I think too many times with NFL scouts, they get caught up in the physical aspect of it. I mean, you saw him talk about how Joe Burrow's hands were too small. Look how that went. Or Kenny Pickett's hands. He's been the starter for the Steelers. I know Bryce Young's only 6 foot 194, but if you look at the tape in college, you took Alabama to the national championship. You look at him this past year, look at some of those dimes he was delivering in the bowl game, in the Sugar Bowl against Kansas State. Bryce Young has what it takes on tape. When these scouts get too narrow-minded, they're looking at the physical aspects of it. That's how you get someone like a Will Levis. I just don't see him really panning out, really strong in Kentucky. Same thing with like Mitch Trubisky. This is why he went as one of the top picks. Yeah, Tommy's shaking his head over there. But that's why he was average at best in North Carolina. These scouts are falling in love with the combine aspect of it. It's just not, I think, how you find a proven franchise quarterback. Look at the tape. I agree, Anthony Richardson could be, but he could also be a bust. And with the number 1 pick, you can't afford a bust. Look at Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. You need someone proven. I think Bryce Young has proven that on tape, no matter what the combine, the underwear Olympics may say.
The one thing that I'm not so sure is proven about Bryce Young is he's 6 feet tall. I'm not seeing that, man. I think he's hanging around that 5'10" and a half range. So we'll see.
Hey, watch the tape. Watch the tape.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. Don't be doing that to me. I'm just saying. You hit everything on the head except for the fact that he's 6 feet tall. There's no way.
Hey, man,
look at the picture.
You know how they've got the list. They always bump up a couple inches online.
Exactly.
The draft profile says 6 feet.
They don't do that at the combine.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the truth about that is. Really good points across the board. I think obviously Bryce Young is the safe answer, but I'm a big fan of Anthony Richardson. I don't know if I'd take him number 1 overall, but if he's on the board at 6 or 7 and I need a quarterback, I'm taking him every single day of the week. Okay. So for this one, Adam, you're going to get the 3 here. Goose, you get the 2. Ryan, you get the 1. Spring training is already back underway in baseball, by the way, with the new rules aplenty, like the pitcher's clock and even the batter's clock, which has stirred some controversy here to start the season. What are your thoughts on the rules that the MLB has put in place, and if anything, What would you change, Adam?
All right, well, the stupidest rule is
Firing immediately.
Is the no shift rule. It's the same thing. I say this about NBA players. If you're getting paid this much, learn how to shoot free throws. Same thing with MLB. Learn how to hit against the shift. And another thing, we're not even sure if this works. They did a test on this in AA the past couple years. 2019 with no rule, they were batting 305. Once they banned the shift last year in 2021 or 2 years ago, the average only went up to 308. We're not even sure if this works. So I think the no shift rule is dumb. I think batters should learn how to hit against it. I think the pitchers and batters clock is fine to speed it up, but the one contingent I would put on that, I would get rid of it in the 9th inning if there's a save opportunity. So if the game's 3 runs or closer, I would get rid of the pitchers and batters clock in the 9th because no one wants to see a game decided by a pitcher taking too long to get on the mound or throw a pitch, a batter taking too long to get in the box. It's just going to leave a sour taste in everyone's mouth, especially playoff time. So I hate the new shift rule. Pitchers and batters are good to speed up the game, but that's the one switch I'd make in the 9th inning.
Adam's message to MLB players, just get better. Right?
I like the pitchers and batters rule overall, but I do agree it needs to be changed in some way. Maybe make it a little bit longer, give them maybe 5 more seconds or so, and don't be too strict, as in like ending a game on it. I don't think they can do what Adam said because if you do it throughout the whole game and then just the 9th inning alone, it feels very odd, as in like they'll get kind of distracted almost out of rhythm because they've been having to do it the whole game and then not having to do it. So I just think extend the time a little bit. You look at the average MLB time of a game last year, it was 3 hours and 3 minutes, and then the Astros-Mets game, which had 17 walks in it, was 3 hours and 10 minutes. 17 walks and it was only 7 minutes longer. So I think the pitching clock needs to stay. I kind of like it, but it needs to be slightly extended in time.
I can certainly see that, and it is a very aggravating thing, like you said, to see a game end on a pitcher's clock or a batter's clock rule. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Goose, close it out.
I agree. I think it would be ridiculous to see a game end that way. However, for a casual sports fan, baseball is kind of dying off. And for a lot of casual sports fans, it's because of the speed of the game. So if you speed up the game, you add a couple new rules. One, it gives fans more to pay attention to. Adam talked about maybe getting rid of it in the 9th. I think it's going to make fans more on edge. It's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. Are your players paying attention? Are they ready? And then also, I think it's good to change up baseball a little bit. It's not a major change, but it's a slight tweak that can add a little bit more to the game. And then when you look at the change in the size of the bases, there was a 13% decrease in injuries in the minor leagues last year. You make the bases a little bit bigger this year. Hopefully that decreases some injuries in the MLB. You want to have star players playing in every single game. So I think overall the rule changes are good. It changes the game, adds more strategy and more layers to it, and it protects the players.
Yeah, obviously player safety increasingly important in every sport here today. So great answers across the board, fellas. We're through 2 sets of questions, and at the top of the board now is Adam with 11 points. Right behind him in second is Justin with 10, and closing us out with 9 is Ryan. All that can change in an instant, though. The rapid fire round is next on College Crossfire. It's time for the last 3 questions of the night for us here on College Crossfire, and you know what that means. It's the rapid fire round, where the points are double, so it's anyone's game. If you're new to the show, rapid fire is our 3rd and final segment where our contestants will have to answer 3 questions, just like they have the last 2 rounds. But this time, they have no idea what I'll be asking. Everything is off the dome. They say defense wins championships. That's not true. Rapid fire wins championships. Let's find out who tonight's champion will be. Here we go. While conferences like the Big Ten and SEC continue to strengthen, the Pac-12 is on the verge of collapse as they struggle to find a media rights deal. Put yourselves in the Pac-12 commissioner's shoes. If you could make one move to convince a TV company to sign a deal with your conference, what would you do? You can think inside the box, you can think outside the box.
I'm going to Nickelodeon and giving them free reign. You know how many people tune in on Christmas and stuff to watch the slime touchdowns and Santa running on the field and whatever else. So, you know, they're going to have to move their games up because kids aren't going to stay up that late. But, you know, get you a nice, morning, mid-afternoon slot. I say go to Nickelodeon and let them have fun at it, People aren't watching the Pac-12 anyway, so should bump up the ratings some.
Nothing better than Utah and Oregon and the slime. Nickelodeon, that's how I want to spend my Saturdays. Not. Guys, any other...
Adam had the fun answer, but if I wanted to get like a little bit more real with it, I think Amazon would be the right approach. You go to Amazon, you see what they can do, because if you go to Amazon, they're looking for games right now. They're looking for leagues. They're looking at trying to get some NBA games on Amazon, looking to add more college football, looking to add more NFL. So I think the Pac-12 would be smart to approach Amazon, see what kind of deal they could work out, and see if you could get some games on Amazon Prime. But that's what...
You put Tommy as your host, right?
I'd go Amazon. I'd approach Amazon.
Would Jeff Bezos even listen to that? That's my thought.
I think so. He has room to fail.
It's probably like a $20 bill for him to split the Pac-12 rights.
That's not a fun answer.
You're not wrong. Okay, well, do you have a more fun answer?
Yeah, what channel is the Practical Jokers on? Because the Pac-12 is a joke.
True TV.
There you go. The Pac-12 is a joke. Okay? Year in and year out, they always have like, oh, these teams are so good. I mean, you look at Utah and like they were fine last year, but they're never going all the way. Come on now. Like I would just say some channel that's like you could watch the Pac-12 and get a good laugh, and then after they get a great laugh, like in The Office or something like that. So I think we should go with like Comedy Central or True TV, even something like that. You know
Bill Walton is screaming right now.
Even like HGTV would be good because like you get all the California teams and the houses and stuff. like the houses. You know what I mean?
And after this match between Oregon and Washington, make sure you stick around for house.
Hey, honestly, it would boost their ratings because the people tuning in for House Hunters would catch the last 2 minutes of the game.
Exactly what I'm trying to say.
Mom, watch House
And then you look at these LA houses, these beachfront houses. Wow, go UCLA. You know what I mean?
UCLA's not even going to be there.
Oh my God, you're so right. That's even more of a joke of a conference.
What kind of conference commissioner doesn't even know what teams are?
That's a joke.
I don't think anybody should be hired here to be a conference commissioner. Moving on to our second question. There we go. New stadiums are being built for professional and collegiate teams, but it's growing increasingly tougher to attract fans to these venues with rising ticket prices and a growing culture of partying from home to watch the game with friends, family, or by yourself. What would you add to a stadium to entice fans to come to your games instead of watching from the comfort of their own home? Some real business-ass questions tonight.
Man.
I'm an RTF major, man.
Just get on base, bro.
I think the smartest thing any team, any college can do is decrease concession prices. Make hot dogs like $1, maybe 50 cents. Make beer as cheap as possible. That is going to get fans in the stands. Because most of the time when you're buying a ticket for these games, you're thinking, okay, I got to buy the ticket. We got to pay $20 to $40 for parking. Plus, it's going to be $40 to $50 to $60 depending on how many people are going for food. If you decrease concession prices and make them actually affordable, fans are going to start showing up a lot more often. At least, I know I would if a hot dog was 50 cents and I could buy 3 of them for $1.50. That's just me.
Yeah, so Justin wants to throw it back to 1947.
It's possible. The Falcons do it.
Because no one comes. Because no one comes. It's so empty. They were the ones who got in trouble for pumping in crowd noise.
Yeah, come on now, Goose.
To watch Marcus Mariota.
Hey, he got cut, bro.
Desmond Ritter.
Exactly. Now he's like the #1 backup in the market. No one wants to see that. I'm losing my pen over here.
You gotta listen to my answer.
Okay, he says lower concession prices. I say, heck, no concession prices on beer. So I say, no. Listen to me. Yes, but listen to me. You have to get there an hour before the game. Okay, if you're there an hour before a game, up until the end of the first quarter, unlimited beer, and it's free. That makes fans get there early, and it makes fans have a really good time, but without getting too crazy because it ends after the end of the first quarter. So I would say that, and I would also say that. The first 1,000 fans at the stadium get to go on the field for pregame. That makes fans get there earlier as well, and I think it'd be a really good experience for them. It entices you to go early to the game.
I'll throw in free season tickets as well.
For the Falcons as well, just hang out.
I think so. Get there early, and you get incentives.
Every police department and stadium security detail just fainted listening to this answer. That would be an absolute nightmare.
Why?
Unlimited beer?
No, not
With a
unlimited beer.
stadium
It's
full of-
free beer until the end of the first quarter, and you gotta get there an hour before the game in order to get it.
Yeah, so you
Incentivize getting there early and incentivizing having fun.
You want to have thousands of drunk fans piled in together.
Yes, that is football. You said make a better environment, get people to go.
All right.
Who doesn't want to do that? Come on now.
It's a Comedy Central idea right there.
You can start establishing it in the Pac-12 and see if that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adam, close us out.
So, yeah, I would start with lowering parking prices. And then I thought something cool that Texas used to do under Chris Beard is after the game they would let the students on the floor. So I think finding more all-access things like that for the first 1,000 fans or whatnot. So I think lowering parking prices, just build all the price into the ticket so fans aren't spending way more on game day. They know what they're going into and paying. I think find more ways to get fans interactions with players or let them go on the field or just different things like that to make the game day experience something that they feel like they have to be at the stadium for rather than just watching on TV.
See, that is a much more reasonable answer. It's better than free tickets for the stadium. free beer for an hour and a quarter. I mean, that's just asking for brawls, trash, security details having to be everywhere all at once. I'm just saying. Last question here, and I hate that I have to do this, but some of our members weren't at the TSTV pickup game this past week, and boy,
Let's go.
Oh, he's going to show his highlights.
they missed the show, or lack thereof. As you see me on the screen, that was the one nice shot I had all night before my entire body gave out below me. Injuries, cramps, left and right for all of us, as most of us were completely out of shape, as I mentioned, to the point of my collapse. So, that leads to my question, as Goose continues to knock down triples here. I don't know what you want me to do, guys. Like, that's not terrible defense. He's just making shots. I can't, what do you want me to do? Goose did win fair and square. No excuses here for me. So, that leads to my question. If you could construct a starting five out of TSTV sports members, who would you want on your team?
For basketball, right?
For basketball,
Okay.
yes.
I mean, I don't know what else that would be.
We're only talking about basketball.
Starting five for football.
Look, I'll go first. I gotta go myself. I gotta go Michael Alvarez. I don't know if he's here still.
Yeah, he's in the
but
back. He's smiling ear to ear watching this.
I gotta have him because we're the Splash Brothers.
Oh, God.
Give me Joseph Duffy because the big body down low, the paint defense.
Yeah, he has
Fourth.
a shot too.
I'll take Tommy. Tommy ain't no slouch. I'll get Tommy number 4.
When my legs are working, I can pass the ball around pretty well.
And then 5, I gotta go Aram Vela, the sleeper of the day. The handles were unreal. Looked like Kyrie Irving out there. So that'd be my starting 5.
I think calling Aram a sleeper is sounding short.
Oh, for sure.
Aram is a superstar. He was the best player on the floor.
I'm saying sleeper in terms of
back in the studio. Aram, he can play.
Absolutely.
I was proud to have him and the great Joseph Duffy on my team. Guys?
All right, so I'll go Goose since he won. Apparently Aram. I've got to have Aram apparently. I got to throw Edley out there, man. She's gonna pick a fight with the other team. Edley is she's gonna be like Brock Cunningham. She's gonna get every other player off their game. Wow, she's gonna get every other player off their game. So give me Edley. Give me Courtney. I feel like Courtney can bowl and college crossfire tournament champions. He knows how to perform in the clutch, and I'll go grab some rebounds for the team. I'll be at the 5. I can't shoot, but I'll do the rebounds. I'll kick out to Goose or Aram, and we'll ball like that.
That's a solid 5 right there. I respect that 5. Ryan?
Yeah, I got Aram as well, and I got the Splash Brothers. I got Michael and you, Goose. I got Joe in the paint, but the glue girl and the girl that will run point would be a point goddess. Samantha Pearl will be my point guard, 1,000,000%. What she does here, she can definitely produce out on the court as well. You don't think she's dropping 50 assists a game? You telling me she ain't dropping 50 assists a game, dude?
I agree.
And you got Goose in the corner over there. It's GG's. I think Samantha would be a phenomenal point guard. That is my starting 5.
I completely agree with you there. I think that it all runs around how you direct the offense. Samantha does a wonderful job directing us. She can direct an offense.
Yep.
Great starting 5s across the board. I would love to see those games played. So hopefully next time we go out there, we can all assemble those teams. We missed Ryan and Adam the last time we were out there.
I can ball a little bit.
I definitely could have used a sub from either one of you.
Ball a little bit.
I can rebound. That's it.
Hey, Dennis Rodman did all that, and he won how many championships? 6? Something like that. Anyways, great way to close out the show, guys. But as you all know, there can only be one winner. Today's College Crossfire champion is Mr. Good Stuff himself, Adam Ogburn. Congratulations, Adam. He comes back for the first time in a long time, and he wins it. Cece, do we have time for FaceTime?
Yes.
Well, I'm on the screen, so I'm going to go. But, yeah, super fun being back on Crossfire.
Sorry, I didn't know. This guy wins, and he
Well, but yeah, no, good being back on Crossfire. Shout out to TSTV department, off to a great start this semester. I know we got some TSTV game days coming up. Samantha's been working hard. What?
You've been here for 4 weeks. You've been here for like 2 months. What do you mean, good start?
Great.
Through the semester, dog.
Okay, Jordan, I'm done. I'm getting attacked. We'll send this over to the Comedy Central. Or no, how's that?
After dark, coming up next here on TSTV.
I should have won that one.
Hey, can we do that for TSTV game day?
I was surprised no one
I
said
should have won that alone.
TSTV should get the rights to the Pac-12. You're telling me we can't send Samantha Pearl in a broadcast?
Yeah, come on.
All the way out to
You're busy with 24/7, dog. You wouldn't be able to go.
Horn Sport Insider. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see me there. So TST, hey, Pac-12, if you're watching, if you want a rights, we can give you $20 and a nice-looking suit.
House hunters.
That was a terrible FaceTime. That belonged on the Comedy Central. I apologize. That one may have been one of the worst of all time. Yeah, that one deserved that. So.
What a phenomenal show. Congratulations to our winner, Adam, and huge thanks to Ryan and Goose for coming on and joining us tonight. You guys were fantastic as always. That's going to do it for us in the TSTV studio, soon to be back in the home studios, I guess. Before you go, be sure to remember to come back Friday mornings for the 1-0 Sports Show with Mr. Adam Ogburn, and Monday nights for College Press Box. Thank you to our live studio audience for coming out and being great as usual. Absolutely, give it up for yourself. For our contestants, everyone in Master Control, our executive producer, Jordan Galehood, and all the other great folks at TSTV, I'm Tommy Yarrish saying good night and see you next time.